So today I'm actually on the Mississippi River getting a chance to fish for walleyes. It's one of the first times this year I've gone after them. You saw real quickly there, one of my favorite techniques here is put on one of these kind of spinner rigs on a bottom bouncer and tip with a worm, get a chance to kind of cover a lot of ground, cover a lot of areas, kind of looking for active fish. This is kind of one of my favorite ways to fish for walleyes, kind of in late spring. This happens to be May. One of the other things I like to point out here is this is a relatively simple setup that I have. I have a slightly bigger boat that's a little bit nicer that I use when I take out, other people, my wife or my kids or friends or whatever, but when it's just me, I kind of like this simple setup, and it just kind of goes to show that you really don't need to spend a lot of money on those big boats and all that fancy equipment. If you like to fish that way, more power to you. If that's what you get enjoyment out of fishing, using that kind of stuff, that's fantastic. But for me, especially if I'm by myself, sometimes I really like this just simple setup. It's just a little old family 14-foot boat with an old 1990 15 horsepower Johnson motor that I bought when I was in college, and pretty simple rod and reel setup with essentially a spinner rig and a worm, and not a whole heck of a lot else. And one of the things that also I like about it, especially earlier in the year, is a lot of times I'm kind of checking out how the river's changed from one year to the next. I feel a lot better running around in this older boat that doesn't go quite as fast before I bring my big boat out. But again, it just kind of illustrates that pretty simple setup is all you need to get out on the river and enjoy all the fun stuff it has to offer. Fish. Walleye. Nice and plump. Just under 50, just a hair under 50. Let him go. Fish on. Nice walleye. Kind of where that last one was at. Very similar to where the last one was at. addition to catching fish and showing videos of hunting, I hope to provide some interesting tidbits of information that maybe some of you will find interesting. In particular, when I'm fishing or when I'm hunting, I like to think about, what are all the things that transpired to allow me to be able to fish in this spot and this day and catching a fish, or maybe it's having a successful hunt. I have some background in understanding the science of conservation and even fisheries and wildlife, and over the course of my many experiences, I've learned that there are often many factors that have come together that resulted in my chance to be able to catch a fish or have a successful hunt, and that I can show you in this video. There are often so many factors that, for me, I've learned to try and put them together like pieces of a puzzle. Sometimes that puzzle not only includes the pieces you see right here on this video, this particular river and this particular location on the river, this habitat, and even the fish being present for me to catch, but sometimes those puzzle pieces are the result of things that happened a long time ago and maybe even far from here. And so even when I sit here and fish on the Mississippi River, I like to think, well, why is the Mississippi River even here? And of course, the answer to that question can translate back many thousands of years. Most people know that over the past 2 million years, large sheets of ice expanded and contracted across large portions of the Earth's surface. And of course, the last of these happened about 15,000 years ago. Following this last glacial event, a large lake was formed in the center of the upper Midwest or center part of North America. Actually, several glacial lakes were present. One of these was called Glacial Lake Agassiz. This is a artist's depiction from the late 1800s, kind of showing the approximate location of Glacial Lake Agassiz. The map's been revised since then, but one of the things you can see is kind of how massive it was. At one point, there was a dam-like formation here at the kind of southern edge of the lake that gave way and resulted in the lake being drained through essentially this glacial river that was termed the Glacial River Warren. And that river carved a valley, which today is the valley of the Minnesota River. The river generally flowed southeast before turning abruptly northeast, about in the vicinity of present-day Mankato, Minnesota. From there, the river headed northeast up the Twin Cities, joining the Mississippi River Valley and the valley of the St. Croix River, and ultimately helping to carve the beautiful valley and bluffs of the upper Mississippi River where I'm fishing today. So in that respect, I guess you might be able to say that this video is 15,000 years in the making. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. bugs.